What is a podcast intro? Does it serve a purpose? Will it make a difference in whether you listen to the episode, or is it just a verbal warm-up lap? And if the content doesn't matter, can I say things like, "Welcome to Craft and Chaos, my hovercraft is full of eels," and bet on the fact that you'll stick around, either because the intro doesn't matter, or because you want to know if what I say here will actually pay off at the end. Yes, what indeed is a podcast intro? And who am I? And who are you? And how did you get in my house? Either way, welcome. I'm Ryan Dalton, approximately 1/4 of the dark force lurking behind Craft and Chaos. Fellow chaoticians, who are you? Starting with Misty.
My name is Misty.
Great. Pete.
I am Pete.
Thank you, Pete. Kyle.
I am not Misty.
Perfect. The gang's all here. How are you guys out there? Are you feeling weird? Because it's a weird day, apparently.
Outstanding. Can I have a story, and I think you guys, it's a very quick one. I know you have a whole outline, but I have to tell you guys, I've been thinking about this all day.
That's a great story, Pete. Moving on.
As you know, you guys know me. Most of you have seen me in real life, and you know that I have a trainer who's from Serbia, Sirjan, and he's fantastic, and he is shooting a commercial for his gym, and he asked me to be in his commercial for his gym.
Whoa.
Wow.
Wait, are you before or after?
I told him, I said, sure, I'll be your before.
Savage.
But this is even better. This,
Ouch.
I have two stories now. So I tell him this, and he says, yeah, because
What
the
have we
other,
done?
and he says, the other people that are coming, they are like 20, 22, and they have muscles and abs. And there's not enough people that are, your age.
Holy cow, did a fifth person just join the
He did.
podcast? What
So
happened?
and then I was introducing myself to a fellow gym rat it's kind of a small gym, so we see each other.
Sure.
And I said, hey, we have similar schedules. I might as well introduce. I'm Pete. He says, oh, hi, I'm Bala. And I said, you got a great workout, man. You're aspirational. Can I keep up with you? And he says, oh, well, I'm young. I
Wow.
know, you guys. This just suddenly started
So what
happening.
happened after?
So
Rude.
After you
So
murdered him,
rude.
what happened?
Yeah. How'd you get out of jail?
So that's my chaos of the week. Me, of all people, am the before in a gym video, a gym commercial. I'm very excited about it.
Outstanding.
That's my whole
Oh
story.
my
Nice.
God.
That's all I've done this week.
Love it.
It's all chaos, no craft.
I don't like those weeks. No. Unsubscribe.
That actually goes into something I want to talk about a little later on, about those
Ooh,
weeks.
foreshadowing.
So, foreshadowing. You didn't even mean to. But good job, Pete.
Schrodinger's topic? No.
First off,
Weird.
we have listener questions with Misty. Misty, you were going to read out our listener questions.
Yes.
I'm very excited. These are our first questions we've ever
I'm
gotten
super
from our listeners.
excited. And I think so this could be for a couple of our co-hosts. But this very first one is, can you walk through what querying a book actually looks like? Like, is it a form, a pitch, a weird dating ritual with agents? That's the listener question.
Oh.
It's a little of all three, yeah. Kyle, do you want to jump in first, and then I can fill in? Or
I don't.
okay,
Because I haven't had to do this.
Okay.
So, but I know there are two published authors here, so I'm interested to hear both of how you guys went through that.
Pete.
Thanks,
For everyone
Ryan.
listening, Pete, that was a classically timed. Pete just lifted up this huge, refreshing looking drink and put it to his lips.
And I called his name. Pete, I used to be a waiter in college. I don't know if you know that. And we perfect that timing.
it's
When it's like, he's about to eat, go.
Outstanding. You dentists, you're all the best.
You know, my favorite part of that, Pete, is the flash of hatred on your face when I said your name when you had to put your drink down.
I actually don't have, this is going to be a real letdown. I don't have a whole lot to add to this because we were approached by the publisher. So I didn't query the book.
Oh my God.
I know. Is that like,
Humble
that's like
brag.
that's a weird
Oh.
flex.
You
I
lucky
don't know the
duck.
process because they came to me.
I don't know if you
Mhm.
guys know this, but I'm offer only. So I haven't had to.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just be
Okay, that tracks.
talented and the
That
book
tracks.
will appear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
They'll come to you.
So I guess it falls to me to answer this question then. So yeah, querying a book it's on the one hand, is it a routine, like a sort of a form you do for most of the agents you're gonna query? Yes, but there are variances for every agent and every house. So you put together what is basically a pitch. It's a little just like a couple sentences about the very basic intro to your story. You have a couple paragraphs that are, it's like a scissor reel. You're not trying to tell the whole story. You're trying to get them interested in reading the story. And then you follow up with another little paragraph, just if there's anything relevant about you, anything, credentials or whatever, just anything you want them to know about you that you think is going to add to the attractiveness of you as an author. And that's, you have that form based on requirements. You may tweak that here and there based on the agent, but that form is where kind of the uniformity of it stops, because what happens after is now you have to research every agent and every agency that they work for to satisfy the unique requirements that all of them have. And if you don't, you get tossed in the trash. So it's fine doing that for 5 or 10, but when you start doing it for 100 plus, agents over time, it really becomes a grind.
It really is a lot like job hunting.
Yeah, it's basically kind of like job hunting. Yeah. Now, on the one hand, I can understand where they're coming from, because if I'm an agent and I'm just this one agent at this one house, I want to know that you're going to follow what I ask you to do. Because if you're not going to, in the first way that we interact, then we're probably not going to want to work with you. So I understand that. I understand why they do it. And I do think kind of the effort and the sweat equity you put in is part of how the industry sort of tests whether you really want to be a writer or not anyway. So I don't actually, if I sound like down on it, I understand why it is there. It's just mind numbing to be in the middle of it. And from there,
inhuman.
I'm sorry?
And inhuman.
Like it does
makes you
feel
like
dehumanizing. Yeah. It's not like you're sending what you're going to send out to every single agent all at once. You don't blast out to everybody. You typically send out to 5 or 10, because then what happens is that you, based on their feedback, you may see things that you can tweak in your pitch or in whatever material for the story that you send that will make it more attractive and seem more professional. So you don't want to blast it all at once. It's an iterative process. And then typically the way I did it is I would do 10 at a time. And then as I got responses for every response I got, I would send out a couple more as well. So that was my cadence. And then, you could get any variety of response you could think of. The most common response is nothing, just total silence, no response. Then there is the much vaunted form rejection, which is the next most common. And then there might be cautious optimism, cautious interest. Hey, we might be interested. That's what you were saying, Kyle. That might be a nibble where they say, "Hey, this is interesting. Why don't you send me the first 50 pages or something? I'll read that." And at that point, it's kind of a waiting game to see, are they actually going to read it? If they read it, are they actually going to get back to you? Because sometimes, usually what will happen then is it could go either way. Either they read it and decide they're not interested and you don't hear back at all. Or if they decide they're not interested, they may send you some feedback. Or if they are interested, they move on to the next thing off and say, "Hey, send me the whole thing." And then you're off and running with that. Now, what I just described is like 5 minutes compressed down from about a year. And it is a long, it's a long waiting game. And the only way to get through it is to have other stuff you're working on while you're querying. You can't just finish a book, query it, and then wait to see what happens. You just got to keep going. So
at this point, the book that your hypothetical book in this process is done, right? Like you have a finished, what you consider to be a finished one. There'll be edits.
It needs to be done and the best you can make it. before hitting professional edits. Yeah, because what happens? Let's say you've got 3 chapters that you're really proud of, and you haven't written anything else. What happens if an agent comes back and says, "Hey, this is great. Let me have the whole book." You can't say, "Give me 6 months to write the rest of it." And I know people that has happened to. So
I have a follow-up question. So, Ryan, what is the largest number of queries you've had to make before having success or before hearing back?
Do you track them?
Yeah, I track them.
Actually,
there are for a while I had my own kind of a spreadsheet that I used. But then there are services. There's Query Tracker, I think Query Shark. So others that you can, some have free versions, but some of you can pay a little bit, and they're good for organizing the whole effort. And they also have, excuse me, I've got dry throat. They also have information about the agents and the agencies. It can help you filter and find new ones to query and all that. So yeah, you could just totally DIY it, or there are services you could use as well.
So
why
how many?
Dalton Files?
Oh yeah, I didn't answer the question. So I'm just gonna keep at.
You're
keep
like a
talking
politician.
You
I love
asked.
it. I love it.
You're the journalist.
Misty, I'm so glad you asked me that question, and I'm going to answer that question. but first,
while petting a baby.
But first, let's talk about what really is, we got to deal with in the industry, and that is paper printing. And let's talk about paper printing, and then hopefully you will forget that
So
you asked
how
me your
many?
initial
So
question.
how many?
I'm so glad that you asked, and I do want to tell you. But here's why we need
Ryan,
to talk
please
about this
tell me.
first.
I'm dying to know. Please,
I have
just
to
say
go. I have to leave. I will see you later. I don't know why I adopted a Southern accent for that. So for my first series, for the Time Shift trilogy, I queried well over 100 agents before it happened, and then for this last adventure, I think it was like 30.
Oh, that's a much improved ratio.
So the big thing that helped me then is I was already nationally published. And when you are already nationally published, it gives you some cachet, and you get to skip the line. You don't go into the slush pile, which made the experience much quicker for that book. So yeah, the others, the first one was the big slog. The next was not so much.
Okay, we're going to move on to the next question. This one is for Kyle. Kyle,
okay.
If we write because we have to, not because the world asked for it, does the world still owe us an audience?
That's such a Kyle question.
I don't like that word. I don't like the word because I don't think anyone owes really anything in terms of that. But I think that if you're writing something that you have a hypothetical person in mind, like an audience, like that sort of ideal, they are out there. It's just there's a lot of noise and a lot of other things to get out there. And so it's finding your way through to that person. Like, so when I started out doing Swashbuckling Ladies Debate Society, my audio drama, I've barely done any marketing. I don't really understand that world. I've tried, but like most of us, like that's a completely different language. And so it really all spread just by word of mouth, people telling other people. So I sort of put it out into the world and then just hoped that would be on it and talk about it. And so, from that, when we've gotten thousands of listeners, and from no marketing budget, from not really having any connections, not really knowing anybody in the industry, or getting that sort of free bump on any of the services or Google. And so it's sort of you hope that when you find something that people do it. So I don't consider it to be something that the world is eagerly anticipating, but I think it is more about finding the people that your stuff has been for, because it's whatever you write is not for everyone. I mean, anything that's for everyone is for no one. So it's like intentionally when I write stuff, I'm like, there's a segment of the population that's going to think this is hilarious or heartbreaking or whatever it is, and those are the people I'm going for. I'm not trying to hit all 4 quadrants. I'm just going for the people who I like. If you get it, you're in. It's the Mystery Science Theater 3000 thing. It's not about the fact that every joke is going to land. It's about the right people are going to get the jokes and laugh. So that's my philosophy.
Love it. I think we've got time for one more. This is for Pete. So in a previous episode, Pete shared with us how he made his first student film and did not go to the screening. And that was a really touching story. So check that out if you haven't heard that episode yet. But this listener says, Pete, the story about your film made me cry. Do you ever think about what would have changed if you had gone to that screening?
Wow. I used to. I mean, I would downright perseverate on it. Especially immediately after I got the card from my professor saying that people had liked it. I, awash with regret that I had let my inner demons decide that I should, sit in my apartment and play video games instead of facing the thing that is scary. I think as time does what it does, what it needs to do for sure. And I think that's faded over the years. But do I think about what would have changed if I had gone to the screening? Boy, I never have. And I think I'm glad I haven't. Mostly it's just the regret of not being present at the showcase of something I created that was special for me. But if I stop to think, oh my God, what if an agent had been there? And, what if I really missed a giant opportunity? I don't think that serves me very well. So mostly it was just like the regret of listening to the worst parts of myself that caused me to forego an important, possibly formative experience. And I just had to have that later. And I actually, I've produced a number of projects since then that I have seen displayed on a theater screen for an audience that cares very much. And there's nothing like that feeling than sitting in a theater watching something you created be appreciated by others. And so I got it later. I wish I had done it earlier because that's more of an identity piece for me. And I'm sorry it made you cry. It wasn't meant to make you cry. It was okay. I'm okay.
No. I say I I played that section for my wife, and she was very touched by it as well, that you would sort of put this side of yourself out there and let people know. I mean, it goes along with the whole thing of show up. Like, you don't know what's going to happen. Like, it could be good, it could be bad, but I've gotten the chance to have something performed or read out or whatever, and to like, it's almost like you throw a dart in the air, and like, I wrote a joke, and then 6 months later or whatever, it lands, and I go, it's like shooting rockets into space. Like, well, is it going to hit the moon or not? And then to hear that laugh, but also then when it doesn't, that's also a learning experience. Like, it's like, man, like, I sometimes like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Like that was funny. I don't know what's wrong with you people, or whatever the response is. But yeah, it's that. But if you're not in the room, you never know.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that's what sort of one of the lessons it probably taught you is be there.
That's why I hover behind everyone who reads my books just to catch all of their reactions. They don't know it, but
That's right.
Thanks everyone for reading the books.
Yeah.
There it is.
I've seen literally all your reactions.
And for anyone else who wants to submit a listener question for future episodes, Pete, can you tell everyone where they can do that?
I've got the link. It's just look in the show notes of your podcast app right now. Just look down at your phone and scroll in the show notes. Look in the show notes because the link's going to be there.
Craftingchaos.fun.
Craftingchaos.fun.
That still takes me to truestory.fm, which is why I was clarifying.
I know God, Misty, why do you have to find the things that I haven't finished yet?
It's in the show notes.
Go to the show notes. The direct link is there.
Thank you so much.
Cue the music.
They're right next to Pete's tears. Yeah.
Also, Awash with Regret is my REM cover band. But all right, let's go to the first ad.
I think it's in the show notes. Should be on a t-shirt for us or something.
Yes.
Okay, so are we ready for our first sponsor break?
Friendly greeting, fellow human. Here's a common situation we can all relate to. You find a company on social media that promises to provide you with the good or service that will enrich your life. You like, you follow, you subscribe, as you've been told to do. What a hassle. What a headache. What a third thing. Here at the Other Orange, we decided to go a different way. And the best part is you won't have to do a thing. We're great at providing goods and services, but you are the rock star, which is why we're following you. That's right. We're already in your feed. The Facebook? We are there. The Instagram? We are there. What used to be called Twitter but is now referred to by the 24th letter of the alphabet? We are there. Don't see us? Good. That means it's working. The Other Orange. Go on about your business. Pretend like we're not even here.
I think this is one of those. I think this is going to make sense in maybe a few years. We're going to understand the narrative arc that the Other Orange is pursuing with this campaign. Deeply grateful for sure.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're learning something.
They're slowly skewing just a little bit darker each time. It's like they're sliding into villainy.
Yes.
We'll see.
As anyone who spends enough time on the internet eventually succumbs
right,
to.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So moving on to, I'd initially titled it our opening discussion, but we've already been talking for like half an hour. So our not quite opening discussion, I wanted to talk about how we create we've already talked about how we create in less than ideal times on a world scale, but what about on a more mundane scale? How do you carve out time to create or even just be creative in periods when your life is full to the brim? For instance, I just moved halfway across the country. I'm getting my literal house in order. I'm doing this podcast from a room that is empty right now, except for this desk that I'm doing the show on. I'm happy to be here. Life right now is not the bad kind of full. It's been a good move. It's just full. But most of us don't like to take too long away from the creative process. So I'd like to hear how you all squeeze in creativity in some form in times like these. Pete, you want to start?
Oh man, this is a hard question, and I kind of was doing that thing where I was like looking at the teacher saying, "Don't pick on me, don't pick on me, don't pick on me, don't." And of course,
I sensed that
was what you just picked on me. I think I struggle with it because my life fills so with other people's stuff, and that is as an adult, one of my constant sort of battles is making sure that I don't also pick up the stress that the others people's stress that is deflationary element to me being creative. I find that I am only just in the last several months kind of exploring parts of myself that I had previously abandoned. I'm picking up the piano again. I haven't played piano, like practicing in many years. And so I'm getting out my 2-5-1s and I'm working the jazz exercises and I'm trying to get it back into my fingers. And that, that's surprising no one, actually helps me be more creative when I'm sitting behind the mic. It helps me be more creative when I am, trying to edit together. And I think it's lovely because it's it's taking advantage of the tiny creative spaces inside of context shifts, like telling my brain, hey, let's do something completely different than what you're used to shock the system when you sit down to actually do something thoughtful and intentional that is in your actual domain space. I don't know if does that get close to an answer to this question, Ryan? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no wrong answer. So
except this one.
Yeah. As long as you feel good about it.
No, I don't think so. Because I also I'll sort of go off of sort of what you're talking about too. So yeah, my thing was to try and remove whatever barriers I could to try and get into flow state as fast as possible. So like the idea is that I don't have, like I'm known by some of my earlier friends as being a fast writer, and the thing is, I take the same amount of time as everyone else. It's just I have sort of changed my process because of life. Like, I don't have an hour to write. I ever, like, I can't find it. Like, something else will always come in, but I can find 5 minutes, but I can find 15 minutes sometimes. So essentially what I got to the point where there was at my job, essentially there was long periods of sort of nothing going on. And so I was like, well, this is valuable time that I could be using it. So I essentially, over the course of a year or so, trained myself to be able to sort of get into the writer space of the thing. And then when someone came, to immediately sort of pause and then to that, and not, this was the hardest part, not be annoyed at the life thing that came in. That like, hey, by the way, we're paying you to do, to provide a service or give us a good. You should do that thing that we're paying you to do that allows you to live.
Tell me about it, girlfriend.
Right. Exactly. We're all either, goods or services, right? So and say it was not easy. That like sort of getting to that point where even just getting past myself in terms of like, I'm doing something illicit, like we were talking about the secret agent mentality of like, oh, I'm getting away with something. But sitting down when there's sort of nothing else to do, or when you're like, we were talking about waiting for your oil to get changed, or all these little things. There's all these quiet little moments. So, but I'm not saying that right now you can just sit down in a busy garage and then just, bang out 200 words and it's going to be fantastic. It took a long time to sort of build up that muscle, but now I can sort of get into that space really quick and then get out of it and then sort of keep it on pause. And so when I go back, I know where I was.
Yeah, that's the most important thing.
I think it's headspace training. Yeah, I think that's what I'm sort of going after. Like, I think what you're doing, I think, is absolutely right, because what you find is that doing one thing will sort of end up influencing the other. And so like when you're stretching these muscles and the other ones are sort of taking a rest. And so then you can switch and then they're back, but you're still training yourself. You're still keeping that part of your brain active and moving and ready for when the time comes. So yeah, that's sort of how I have approached it, and then continue to try and like take that second, take that whatever it is, even if it's just whatever random idea happens, write down whatever it is, and then so when the time comes, you're ready to go.
Nice. Misty, how about you?
When my life is totally filled to the brim and I'm going from thing to thing to thing, I'm in logistics mode. I am all in my head. I'm not in my body. And there's just kind of this, this dreary momentum. That's just, it's like that place where you can kind of go like, oh my God, in the last 3 hours, I've done so many tasks, I don't even know. Like, it's just this automatic, non-creative state. That's how I tend to default in those moments and be packed back to back. So it's really important for me is to induce a state shifting exercise. So that could be as simple as I'm going to go walk outside for 5 minutes. I'm just going to walk around the block. Or a big one for me is dance. Like if I can just put on a song in the kitchen and literally just dance and get into my body and sway a little bit, it really takes me out of my head into my body and lets me downshift into a more creative state. If you ask me like today, go be creative right now, I would be like, oh God, but I can't. I have to fold laundry and blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
Because I don't think I can ever get access to a flow state unless, where I am in my process, unless I shift that state. So I really need a transition. And then something else that I recently learned, I just produced a podcast episode for this neuroscientist named Taylor Guthrie, and he was talking about extrinsic and intrinsic motivation. And when it's something that we deeply love and are deeply passionate about and that we identify as part of our identities, right? Like I don't write, I am a writer, right? I don't sing, I am a singer.
Yeah.
They've seen on brain scans that even when folks are like burned out and like should theoretically not have any energy left for those things, when they are intrinsically motivated, they kind of always are able to scoop up a little bit more energy to do that thing. So just trusting that like if you sit down at the piano and just play 30 seconds, that you might drop into a state that feels really good and maybe actually nourishing to your busy schedule. Maybe it actually activates the other parts of your brains. Yeah.
I just read an article that I see if I can track it down to drop in the show notes, that they went around and asked a bunch of really like performers and comedians and stuff, like, what is your process like right before you go on, before you do your thing? What is it you have to do like before you? And so they all had these really interesting answers, and some of them were just like you were saying. They dance, they said, or they have a mantra that they go through, or it's I mean, it was like one of the odd ones was Gene Simmons from Kiss. They listened to old like comedy routines. So like the members of Kiss are like sitting backstage, makeup up, and listening to like roasts of Caesar or whatever, and just like, oh man, boy, they really got Frank Sinatra good on that one. All right, let's rock.
So
I mean,
good.
you don't know. Like you have to find whatever it is that sort of can get you into that thing, and it can be as weird and bizarre and personal as it needs to be.
Totally. And I think also those moments really force me to look at my priorities and go, how did I get here? Why am I so packed? And sometimes you cannot put anything else down. And then sometimes you're like, oh, I just don't want to disappoint this person by canceling on them or saying I can't do that thing anymore. And so just noticing and seeing what you can adjust to make space for
He can wait.
Yeah. What about you?
I've been through I know we're getting back to Ryan, but he's queued up.
I've had my time. Go ahead.
Get there. He's got most of them. What I have also discovered for those who are creative and going through a tough time, which like I've had some recent some knocks recently and stuff too, is that because even if you're down depressed and the world is pushing and stuff too, that part of your brain, your creative part, is still there and it's still working. Even if you're not able to get to that, access it, it's like the factory is still running, even if you can't open the doors right now. I've had that where like everything's terrible, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, now everything's calm and it's breathe and it opened, and I open the doors and go, oh yeah, we've been working on some stuff. Here you go, and like you have all of this stuff is still there. So like that, it's still, even if sometimes it's so frustrating when like all you want, like, oh, I have an hour, and your brain just goes no. But it's still there. It's still in the back end. It's still working, and it will be there when you need it, when all the circumstances align. So trust that the process is still happening inside yourself, even when the world is keeping you two separated.
Very well said. Yes. For me, I'll actually, take what's been going on in the last couple of weeks for me as an example. The first bit, I didn't try to be creative at all. I just let it settle in the back of my mind. I'm all for taking a break when you need to. For me, in times like this, especially when the move is at its most busy, it doesn't pay to fight against life and the demands of life. So I pause, I give life what it needs, and I know that that's like life's going to pay me back as I return to writing. So I don't feel bad about stepping away to take care of this stuff because I know it's gonna pay off. But as we got through the busiest parts, and I started to feel ready again. I started slow. While I worked, I put in my earbuds. I listened to my book soundtracks, which always gets the creative desire flowing again. And that one idea is always going to flow to another. At that point, if I got an idea, I would stop. I would jot it down. Then I would get back to life stuff. On the long drive out here, I loaded up an audiobook and I just kind of let it take me away. I enjoyed somebody else's really great work, which is always so great for, stoking the fire and making you want to make your own stuff. So now it's been nearly a week in the new home. And just yesterday, I sat down for the first time and actually wrote a few things. And then even after that, I got up and I got back to some life stuff because you cannot settle into a house in less than a week. That's for sure. And over the next few weeks, as life finds a balance here and I settle in, the balance between life and art is going to reassert itself. I've been doing it long enough that I know that's going to happen. I know that my routine is going to reassert. I know that I'll need to spend less time on the mundane as I get more things decided and settled and put away and just routines in place here. And then as that happens, then that time and attention can then be redirected back to the creative stuff. And that energy can really start to flow again like it used to. So it's just kind of a gradual process for me to get through it. That's how I do it.
A lot of fundamental things changed recently. And so having to just stop and go, this is not going to be my most creative time because I have to figure out what the new normal is. So just to sort of like step back and just go, okay, like I'm going to just let things settle in and move where they need to be. And then when things get back normal, then it'll sort of lock in and I know it's there. But even so, as I decided, like, I'm not going to work on anything during like a couple weeks while all of this stuff is in motion. Like one day I woke up and went, oh yeah, by the way, here's a brilliant idea for the thing you've been working on. I was like,
of course.
Okay, cool. It's like a message from like, just like, hey, by the way, and like, like we're like, it's sort of like, we're still down here working just by the way. So like, oh, okay, cool. So I just made a note of that. Okay. For later, do that. So it's
Nice.
but like you say, it's life is going to do that, but you sort of have to do that push and pull.
Yeah.
Not let it get put up, but then understand that there is always going to be weather.
Yeah. And I don't think.
And sometimes life will. Go ahead.
No, Ryan, really, this is your show.
What? When did that happen?
It's Ryan's special day.
I bought out the show from Pete. We didn't tell you. I'm now the majority shareholder of the show. Yeah. It was just a throwaway comment. It is funny how like the creativity will hit you in the back of the head when you're not looking. Sometimes it'll just chuck an idea at you when you're doing other things, and that's comical and tragic sometimes.
And you got me. I mean, both of you. The thing I think that it has taken many years to learn, which is to appreciate the impact that the changes around me have on my ability to create, right? Like I know I'm ahead of you, Kyle, in particular with the kids, because my kids are leaving and launching and being out of the house. And the lack of them taking up space is a dramatic impact on my creative output. It is in a negative way. Like there is something about having the noise floor and the energy floor higher that I have to, that is triggering. When I'm alone with my thoughts and I don't hear the rattle and hum of the house, I find it more difficult to, I don't like listening to myself, to the voices in my head anyway. I have to find and manufacture the noise floor that actually I can feel comfortable enough to create. And I am constantly surprised at just how sensitive I am to that. It seems ridiculous when I say it out loud, but I can't ignore it. I can't ignore it.
That is sort of what I'm going through that in a slightly different way too, because my daughter has her driver's license and has her own stuff and is now gone. So it's that thing of like, oh, I don't have to drop her off. I don't have to pick her up. At some points, I don't even know where she is, which is a whole different thing. So that's part of one of the things I'm sort of like, okay, this is a different feeling. So I'm sort of having to navigate what that means and how that feels, and to have this extra time, but then also like, am I supposed to be spending that time worrying or like what? So yeah, the quote that came to me was from Stephen King on writing, which he says, life isn't a support system for art. It's the other way around.
Yeah.
And I always disagreed with that. And now I'm starting to go, oh yeah, okay, I see where you're at.
Yeah. Because there's this sense, like I've always been fighting for time to create. I've always been fighting for time to create because of these other like family obligations or other obligations outside of creating time. And then when those obligations go away and you realize, oh, now you are awash with time. You're bleeding in time, drowning in time. It's like, oh God, now the responsibility is too high. Like, I don't know how to fill it.
Yeah.
It's like, it doesn't come to me if I'm not
please.
desperate.
Right. Yeah. It's like that. One of my friends always says, I know when I'm going to be incredibly productive because I get so much laundry done.
Yeah.
It's like, no matter what, it's like, oh, I can do one more chapter. And you know what? I should probably, and just find another thing, another chore.
The whole house will be clean before the script is finished.
Right. And for all this snacking I have to do.
Well, it's also the other shiny new ideas.
Oh yes. That'd be a whole topic in and of itself, is the new shiny.
Yeah, just like being creative with the thing you're supposed to be creative with. Or what about this thing over here? It's just begging for a little attention. Yeah. Well, great insights, everybody. Thank you for sharing. That was great. I feel like maybe it's a good time for a sponsor break.
a lot of people don't understand about cryptocurrency is...
And contact. Wow, finally got through. Hey, it's me, Bridget, goddess of mental health. Yeah, I've had many names throughout the millennia, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I only have a minute while this dude is blabbing about fake money, and I have been trying to reach you, but you got a lot of static in your attic, okay? Let me get to the point. That thing you did, the embarrassing moment, the one that pops into your head as soon as you lay your head on the pillow, yeah, you're off the hook for that. Totally absolved. Actually, looking at this list, my gosh, your next 10 items, all covered. Statutes of limitation are completed. Forgiven. I'm sorry you've been beating yourself up about this, but this is me, Bridget, an actual goddess, telling you it's all good. Record expunged. I'll be taking that guilt with me when I go. Okay, this guy's wrapping up. In the meanwhile, try and make yourself a little more open to the divine. Toodles.
.com. Why make smart money when you can make stupid money? Am I right? Later, hater.
I think we did a better screening process. I don't think crypto is a great thing that we should be pushing right now. So
I don't know why that transition got me so.
That was awesome. How has no one ever used why make smart money? You could make stupid money before that.
Oh my God.
Wow, so you guys got a very different reaction from that than I did. So.
Good.
Those guys seem a little shady. I don't know if we should have them back
What
on.
a nice, lovely ad.
In a completely unrelated note, Just Plus None is now available on all streaming services, written and directed by one Mandy Fabian. I don't know why that came to me, but whatever. Check it out. It's really funny and you would enjoy it. So
very nice.
Chess Plus None is delightful. Endorsed.
Okay, so who is ready to play a little game?
I am.
That's right.
I am.
Oh,
I am too.
Thank you.
I'm more
also
ready than Pete.
And my sword. No, wait. My axe.
So, a while back, I happened to see that two very separate things sounded comically similar. And it got me to thinking, if we put it to the test, can the average person tell the difference between the title of a romance novel and the name of a death metal band? We'll find out today. But first, let's meet our contestants. At Podium 1, we have veteran broadcaster, journalist, and professional human Pete Wright.
Oh, thank you. I'm really glad to be here, Ryan.
At Podium 2, professional Los Angeles person, podcaster, creative strategist, Misty Stinnett.
Professional Los Angeles person.
And on Podium 3, playwright, nerd king, voted best beard on Craft and Chaos 10 years in a row, Kyle Olson.
I'm here to make money and to make friends.
Oh, nice.
And I'm all out of money.
Lastly, your host, author, voice actor, singer, painter, and all the sucker MCs call him Sir Ryan Dalton. That's me. Here's how the game works. When it's your turn, I will read a name in a sultry, smoky voice.
Mm-hmm.
It's then your job to guess if that is indeed the title of a steamy romance novel or the name of a death metal band. We'll go a few rounds or until you're sick of this game. And then the winner will receive a prize you do not want, to be determined. Are you ready to play?
So ready.
TBD. TBD.
Pete, I'm going to pick on you
Yes.
first. Yours is Crimson Thorn.
Oh my God.
Is there an E on the end of Thorn?
There is not.
Okay.
Death metal band.
All right. What?
Ding. You got it
Wow.
right.
Do you know why?
Oh.
It's because
Right.
Misty realized just how attuned I
Oh.
was to that E. But once there's no E, it was obviously a death metal.
Mm.
Nice.
I'm your Scottie
One
Pippen.
right.
I'm your Scottie
That's
Pippen
right.
to your Michael Jordan.
Okay, Misty.
Mm.
Paths of Possession.
Oh my
Is there an
God.
E at the end of possession?
Is there an E in paths? Paths of possession?
Paths of Possession.
I'm going with romance novel.
Oh,
It is a death metal
Oh my God.
Oh.
No E.
That's
Wow.
so good. Wow.
On the main stage, Paths of Possession.
Was there an E and of, like paths of possession?
Pez.
Because then I would have gotten it. Yeah.
Kyle.
That's me.
A touch of darkness.
Ooh. Touch of darkness. I think that sounds like a romance novel.
Ding, you got it. Romance novel.
I would have guessed
Touching
band.
Darkness would be a death metal band.
Yeah.
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 Oh, a touch of. Yeah,
That
yeah,
would be
yeah.
a band.
That's-
Yeah.
A touch
Touch.
of
That's
It's like a
sort of it's the
tease.
once again, the article.
Yeah.
The article is what
Yeah.
Okay, we're back to Pete. Undead and
Okay.
unwed. It's harder than you thought it would be, right?
It is
It's an
much
excellent
harder than I
game.
thought it was going to be. And I can't help the biggest problem is I can't help but take it more seriously
Yeah.
than it deserves.
Of course.
I am going to
Walk us through
say
the process. Take us through your thoughts.
this is no, I have now forgotten undead or unwed. Undead or
Undead
unwed.
and unwed.
Oh, and
Undead
once again-
and unwed.
those words are important. Undead and unwed. So is it now
Look.
undead and unwed, or is it undead and unwed?
It all
Yes,
depends.
that's exactly it.
See?
I
Yeah.
think that this is first of all, because I want it to be a romance novel. Deeply, I
I'm gonna
think
give you
it's
5
actually
more
a death
seconds,
metal
Pete.
band.
You think
It's a death metal
band?
band.
It is
Yeah.
a romance novel.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a great
It
title for a
sounds
romance novel, too.
horribly romantic. No,
Yeah.
no.
No,
Sounds terrible.
Okay.
Like, she died before she got married. How tragic.
Okay. Misty,
Yes.
between the buried and me.
Oh, if this
That
is a
is
death
so
metal
horny.
band, it's very poetic.
Between
The buried and me, is this about necromania?
you can't spell necromancy without romance.
That's my
Kyle
mom
with
always
wisdom.
says. Kyle with wisdom. Between the buried and me, we're
Mhm.
going romance novel, baby.
It is a death
No.
metal
Oh
band.
my god!
Wow.
Oh my god!
Yeah. So the between, I was thinking that between, like between.
All right.
Between the buried and me.
Yeah.
Okay. Kyle.
Hit me.
Strapping young lad.
Strapping young lad. Boy,
That's
that
why
would
it's a
be-
death metal
What would the
band.
story of that book be?
I can think of a few.
Anything you want.
Aye. I think that is a death metal band.
Yeah.
You got it. It is a death
Yeah.
metal band.
With one person?
I was imagining like the Whiskey a Go Go and the marquee under it, and like, would that look good on there?
Okay.
Yeah.
We are back to Pete. Pete, devilish impressions.
Okay. But devilish impressions. Like there are no articles. It's not a devilish impression. It's not devilish and impressions.
Right.
It's I think this
But it's
Yeah.
not devil's impressions.
Devilishly
It's like
impressionable.
kind of, it's like devilish.
because you can imagine
Devilishly
somebody
impressionable.
who is cursed and it drives them to do cheap horny things over the course of about 400 pages that are written over the course of about 7 days. So
Mhm.
I'm going to go romance
Hold on, I'm
novel.
copywriting cheap horny things.
cheaphornythings.com
Mhm.
romance novel.
Pete,
God.
Pete, it is a death metal band.
This is so excellent that we're having such a hard time discerning these.
Misty,
Ryan.
touch me with fire.
Oh my
Ooh.
God.
This is such a good game.
Touch me with fire.
with fire.
Either way, I say yes. Whether it's a band, whether it's a novel, that's a great name. Touch me with fire. I'm gonna say romance novel.
It is a romance
Thank
novel.
God I got one right.
Nice.
That's
Misty
my
is
only one
on the
so far.
board.
So,
Yeah.
so our current
Like-
score: Pete has 1, Misty has 1, Kyle blazing into the lead with 2. By the way,
If eat my dust.
Kyle just
By
put
the
up
way-
like a kiss.
Yeah,
thing.
right.
however
can't-
long
I can't
you
describe
do
it.
this,
Question mark is also a death metal band.
By the way, however many more rounds we do of this, I have so many more of these. We could easily do a second game.
No, I think we should save this for another. Yeah, we should save this for another one as well because this is too fun. This needs to be a recur.
Okay.
Let's do one more round.
So Kyle, one more round.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do Kyle and then Pete and then Misty. Okay. So Kyle, bound by secrets.
Bound by secrets. So you think book because bound. It does sound like you're bound, but then you're bound by
You could
secrets.
be bound with a melody. You could be bound with guitar
It's true.
strings.
It's true. That's true.
Oh my God.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm bound with what? So read it to me again.
Bound by secrets.
By. I think I'm going to say romance novel.
You got it. It is a romance novel.
It's
Kyle
the
with-
by.
And it's
Kyle with
complex
a
too.
commanding lead.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Pete. Deeds of flesh.
Deeds
Ooh.
of flesh.
Yep.
Wow.
Oh, God.
By Clive Barker.
I think this is my thinking is flesh is not a book cover word for this game. I think flesh is going to be a word.
The look on Misty's face as she was like going through a mental Rolodex of like every book I've read that has the word flesh in it.
Flesh sounds like a band to me. It's a lot of books, you guys. It's a
Okay.
lot of books.
There's a whole flesh section in the library, Pete. Just so you know.
Oh my God.
So, what was your answer, Pete?
I'm going to go with a romance novel.
Pete, I'm so sorry. It's a death metal
Are you
band.
kidding me? Jiminy Christmas, this game's and it's amazing.
Hard.
Misty,
Yes.
last one of the game. My Dying Bride.
Ooh. Oh man.
My Dying Bride is such a vibe for a death metal band. That would be such an next up after Devilish Impressions. It's a My Dying Bride.
It's definitely
I
in
mean-
Buffy the Vampire Slayer at the Bronze.
Mm. Well, and the other thing is like My Dying Bride doesn't sound romantic to me. Like that's like, oh, do I look at a cover of that and be like, I must get that? It's not
Yeah.
bound by desire.
Opening for Sibo Mato.
Yeah.
My Dying Bride.
I'm gonna go with death metal band.
It is a death metal band.
Mm-hmm.
So, our final scores Pete with 1, Misty with 2,
Unbelievable.
Kyle, our champion, with 3.
They asked me if I was ready to rock, and I was.
Well done.
Congratulations, Kyle. You will be receiving a prize you do not want sometime in the future when you least expect.
That was an outstanding game. Troubling.
Okay.
that
Yeah,
was really
excellent.
good.
I'm- I'm so glad you guys liked it.
Excellent.
And now you have a lot of music and or book recommendations to look at while you're waiting for our
Yeah.
next episode to drop.
Do you remember the ones you got right, Kyle?
No.
I don't remember any of these recommendations. We should put them in a book list.
I remember Touched by Fire. That's all.
Nice. Actually, it was Touch Me with Fire.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Touch
Yeah.
me with
Oh,
fire.
At least I think
God,
it was.
even
I may be
better.
wrong too. I
Between the undead and me. wasn't
Unwed
that
and
part of it?
That sounds right.
Undead and
Undead
unwed.
and
undead.
Yeah,
Unwed
that's-
and
that was my winner for this one.
Well, I think that brings our episode to a close.
I also need everyone
So-
to know that Pete just took the last sip of that refreshing, frothy
Yeah.
drink. So he made it all, he eventually made it all the way through, and that just feels full circle.
I do.
We've been stretching the
Yeah.
episode to try and get him.
That's
to the,
really
every
Thank
time
God.
he would keep
This-
holding
Now
it up
we
and
can
pointing
clock
at
out.
it, saying like how much.
It's like an hour.
If we're still talking by the time I need
Right.
another drink, I'm just hanging up on
It's
you.
like an
Yeah.
hourglass.
It's the subtext of the whole episode has been finishing that drink.
Yes.
Anyway,
rock
so
out with your clock.
Like
out.
the Coke through the pint glass, so are the days of our lives.
Nice.
brought to you by the other orange.
So I have a plug we're going to do here at the end. We're not being paid by them, but I just want this is sort of a benefit for pretty much anybody's out there. So Ryan Dalton is a published author. Pete is a published author, which means that they get copies of their books. They actually have them on their shelves. I am a published playwright, and I get nothing. Like that, my publisher, Gettleman and Good, they're excellent, but they are digital only. So they only do stuff in PDF, which is, they saves overhead. They don't have to worry about shipping and all this stuff. People can, if they want to do my play answer key, you can go to them, you can get it. You just get the PDF and you can print out as many as you want. It they make it super easy. Also, I did a marketing class with them this weekend, and they told me I'm not pushing my stuff enough. That's not what we're talking about here. That is available for anybody who want, people who are putting together seasons, by the way. But what I want to talk about is the fact that it bummed me out that I don't get to hold a copy of my book. So I started looking at things of how could I get this? There's got to be ways I can just get stuff printed. And it turns out Barnes & Noble has something called Barnes & Noble Press, and you can just make your own book. And I thought, well, that'd be cool. And so I started looking into it, and I put together the first thing. I'm like, okay, I want it to be 6x9. I want it sort of a little bigger. I want it a nicer, pages, and I want it sort of with full graphics. I want it to be a nice book. And I put in all of my options, and it said, okay, that'll be $7. I was like,
wow.
What? So with that and printing and shipping and stuff, for a grand total of $15.
Look at
I got a hardcover copy of my published play, a limited edition of 1.
That's wonderful.
So it's a whole process of going through it, but it is. So I recommend to anybody out there who wants to actually have it. I mean, for $15, if you have your favorite novel thing, whatever you've written, your poems, whatever it is, you can just print your own book and just have it. They have a whole system if you want to put it up digitally, and you can get an ISBN number and all that kind of stuff. But to just have a copy of whatever thing, to actually have the thing to hold in your hand as opposed to just your Word document, it's a whole different thing. So highly recommend that. It took about a month or so, because they have to go through the whole process of setting it. But now it's on there. So if I want to do more, if I want to print another one for somebody else, I can do it. So I highly recommend it. It's a super fun thing to have.
That's so
Very
wonderful.
nice.
Nobody can see this, but my jaw dropped open. It's you can publish yourself.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, you can,
so much
you can
cheaper than
do the business
Amazon.
of it. Sure. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was the thing I was so impressed with.
It's
powerful. It's pretty
powerful.
good quality too.
Powerful to see your work in physical form.
Oh,
So do you just go to barnesandnoble.com and search for publishing?
We could. We'll drop a link in the show notes.
In the show notes.
But if you look
Put
for
it in the show notes.
If you look for
Oh, the show notes.
Oh, you got
I
it on
love
the
'em.
show notes.
that mythical,
There's somebody else in here. I'm sorry,
show
you guys.
notes.
He's looking for his own pint, and
Nice.
clock is ticking.
So, we want to hear from you. How do you fit creativity into your busiest times? Talk to us. We would like to hear. And if you have other questions or anything you want to hear us talk about, reach out and let us know. In the meantime, mia spisepsibo estas engaloplena. That's Esperanto for my hovercraft is full of eels. See, it did come back. Maybe the intro did matter. And really, isn't there a podcast intro inside all of us? For Pete, Misty, Kyle, and Ryan, see you next time.